Welcome back to the show, and let's focus on a large block trade that took place yesterday. On two counts, it's significant. First of all, a large block trade yet again by an investor, Blackstone, in Embassy REIT. And the second important one is that it's a milestone that has been covered in the confidence building of REITs as an asset class. I have with me Arvind Maya, who's from Embassy REIT. Arvind, always a pleasure to welcome you on CNBC TV 18. My first question, what is the quality of investors that you got in this block trade?
Thank you, Nisha. Good afternoon to all the viewers. First, I want to say, Nisha, this is a super positive move. Just coming to your question in terms of quality of investors, right? I'll speak to the extent I can. Good mix of domestic as well as foreign institutional investors. Some of the investors who already have stake in us have increased their stake. Plus, some new investors have also come to the book. When you look at our unit holding, right, it's a nice combination between domestic around 30-35%, foreign institution 30-35%, retail around 16%, and sponsor promoter being 8%. One last message I want to give, over the last, say, 12-18 months, you would have seen that foreign institutional investors have stayed away from REITs, especially commercial. Good interest from them as well into this block trade, which basically means they're again believing in the India story and the India commercial story.
That's right. And Arvind, what is it in particular about Embassy REIT's growth prospects for which the new investors have come in, and also the existing investors like Bain, HDFC, MF, etc., have put in more money in this block trade?
Yeah, Nisha, so 3 years have been quite tough for us in terms of post-COVID era, but I think we have bottomed out clearly, and we have very good organic growth levers, which is, we are today at 83% occupancy. We were close to 95 pre-COVID. We have a clear path to go to that in the next few years. We have some good under construction development of 7 million square feet in Bangalore, which is a hot market for commercial real estate. And both these are triggered by, I would say, two events. One is the growth of global captives in India, and second is the new SEZ regulation, which we were awaiting as an industry. Both of these are done, right? So this is the organic story. And second is from an institutional investor's point of view, when you look at the kind of quality of investors we have, I think our ability to raise additional funds for inorganic growth also increases significantly. I think both put together, it's a great story for us as management team and for all our investors.
So SEZ amendment, let's focus on that. What is Embassy REIT's plan in de-bottlenecking the areas and filling up the vacancies after this amendment? And the timeline, if you can say, how much it will materialize by when, if you can give some sense into that.
Sure, Anisha. I think we have totally around 55% of our space in SEZ. And when you look at the vacancy we have of around 6 million, again, around 55 to 60% of that is in SEZ space, right? Again, it differs by city. But there are a few fine prints which are awaited, but the good conversations with government, I think there'll be full clarity in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Post that, our expectation is we will go full steam on kind of applying for denotification in cities like Bangalore. And we expect the process to be 2 to 3 months, as long as it's a single or two window process, which is what we're expecting from the government. So once that is done, all of this space is available to be marketed to all the non-SEZ players. So just big picture, I think majority of the SEZ space, which we have, we will go, which is there in Bangalore, we'll go immediately and should become marketable in the next 3-4 months, which means all of this space is available to lease in the next financial year.
All right, so next financial year and the potential growth there. But with this particular trade, a large investor, Blackstone, and it has made hefty returns, first at the time of IPO and the second at this particular time. You were looking at Bain Capital, and those talks were doing the rounds of Bain Capital coming in as a large investor. But that didn't happen. It went the way of block deals. What does this mean from an exit confidence level perspective for investors coming in REIT, Arvind? Help us understand that.
Sure, Nisha. Just to throw some stats over here, right? Today, there are 4 REITs, 3 in commercial, 1 in retail. The 3 commercial REITs own about 80 million square feet of office space. The total India office market is around 800 million square feet, which is basically just about 10%, right? When you now compare this to US, which is a well-established REIT market, close to 60% of the listed real estate is in the form of REITs. Almost 1,000 listed REITs are there. And more importantly, there are REITs across commercial, residential, hospitals, hotels, warehouses. So when you compare that to India, basically the game has just begun for us. And this
That's
big
right.
block trade, basically what this means is it clearly gives an indication of the appetite and the liquidity of stock that
Yes.
increases the confidence of investors to invest more into India because they know that
Yes.
they can always read the product, liquidate for
Yes.
them, the fresh capital will come in. So that
Yes.
liquidity is very important for institutional investors to come and invest into India. So basically what this
Yes.
means is there will be more REITs and investors coming into India. People will look at listing it in the next few years.
Of course, Arvind, to your point, investments are driven by the exit options and more optionality there has been presented and the return proposition. But the biggest takeaway from your commentary is also that you've raised funds and inorganic opportunities is something that you won't shy away from. Always a pleasure speaking to you, Arvind. Thanks so much for joining us on CNBC TV 18. With that, we'll slip into a short breather, come back to the show for more news and updates on the other side.